Hey everybody, welcome to the BFF Insider series where I take you behind the homepage to show you what it's really like to run an online business and bring you awesome solopreneurs and entrepreneurs that I've met through building my business and the relationships that I've built. And I've met so many amazing people that I just want to introduce them all to you. And that's really what this whole Insider series is about. It's my excuse to spend an hour talking with some of the amazing people that I've met and pick their brains and kind of share, the behind the scenes stuff with you guys. So today I have Lindsay Weisenthal of Soul Rising on. She is another one-woman shop, 100 Best Sites for Solopreneurs winner. She's an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, and I would love to pass it over to you to tell all of our BFFs a little bit about you, what you do, what your business is, and who you're trying to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I've been working with Shannon for a while. She's incredible. So to be able to chat one-to-one with her is just a thrill for me. So I'm going to dive in and just tell you about my business. I work with holistic entrepreneurs, a lot of which are coaches, but also some yoga instructors and anyone who's kind of really found their soul purpose, right? So I help them uncover their unique selling point within their niche and cut the fluff, cut all the busy crap, get rid of that, and really enroll clients, right? Because I think of it like medicine, right? Medicine is not really helpful if someone is not using it to heal. It's nothing, it's dead, right? So it's really about helping my clients who are all experts at what they do. They're amazing, they're incredible at what they do. And then when it comes to enrolling clients, they start fumbling and sweating and freaking out. And I think that really when you take the word selling out and you use words like engagement, enrollment, it really starts to feel better to them. So that's what we work on. We work on enrolling clients so that their great work can matter, right? Essentially.
That's awesome. And I love how you say that, selling feels so intimidating for a lot of people because we just want to do what we love. We don't want to feel like we're putting pressure on anybody to work with us. We don't want to feel like we're, making people feel uncomfortable, but we really want to solve people's problems. And I think the way that you're helping people reframe that, especially for people that are holistic entrepreneurs, that's their goal, is to really improve people's lives, just really feel good about how they go about doing that. So that is so super cool. And I was looking at your website because when we first started working together, you had a little bit of a different focus. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what that was and kind of how you evolved into what you're doing now? And I have my dog in here, by the way, so she's the one making all the noise. So if you see me like reaching down and like whatever, I'm like taking stuff out of her mouth. So just bear with me.
Yeah. So when I started, first, let me say I was like in corporate. I was a senior designer in corporate, had a great job. It looked really cool on paper. I was designing at a bicycle company, doing everything from branding to packaging to logos to designing bikes, designing parts for bikes. I mean, helmets, everything, you name it. I was designing it, and it was fun. And that was the place where I learned about something called your shadow career, right? And the best way I can explain that was you're doing something because you're good at it, not because it fulfills you or challenges you or evolves you. And, I was like, this isn't going to do it. This is not going to cut it. I was going home really just empty, And so like a lot of entrepreneurs in our space, I was working with a coach while I was in corporate. And I realized I had hired him to help me get through the corporate mess. And through the coaching relationship, I was like, oh my God, dude, like I need to be doing what you are doing, because I was experiencing how powerful that was, just as, my whole life started to change. My health changed, my relationship changed, and I jumped ship on corporate. I was like, I'm out, I'm done. Yeah. And I left, and the beginning of my website, the first iteration that you helped me create, was really just kind of your general like life coach, like clarity coach, like let me help you find your purpose. And while that's still part of what I help people do, it evolved into what it is now, which is really centered around my signature program, Enlighten Enrollment, by listening to feedback. So instead of me deciding what my purpose was, I let everybody else tell me what it was. And that's maybe a little unconventional. But I basically just, every time I had a coaching relationship, I said, what did you get out of our work together? And the answer kept being around this, like, you made this comfortable, you made this fun. It made, you know, it made signing clients not scary. And all of the feedback that was coming in was around the way I worded, help them word things, whether it was sales copy on their website that was selling, or creating their first freebie opt-in to attract people. So it was really just kind of around client attraction. And I was like, okay, so I guess I'm changing my title, I'm changing my branding, because this is clearly where I'm getting people results. So to anybody listening, sometimes I know you think you know what your purpose is, but it's not. It's just not. So really see where you're getting the most results for people and follow that.
That is awesome. And I think one of the things that I love about you is that you made a decision that you wanted to do something different. You went for it, but you were open to the possibility that it could evolve. So you didn't stop because it wasn't entirely all figured out. You finished what you knew. You know, the piece that you knew, you built. And your website's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, your graphic design background really shows, and I think it's gorgeous. You guys should go check it out at soulrising.com. But I love that you were open to that evolution, and that you didn't let yourself get stuck in the, you know, or that feeling of, you know, oh, what my clients are telling me isn't what my vision that I had for myself was. Mm-hmm. That could really cripple somebody's confidence and make them feel like they weren't delivering, or that maybe they were not doing the right thing. You capitalized on that. And I think that is really, really cool. So
I think this is why, and this is one of the articles I wrote was, you know, about failure. This is why embracing failure is great, because the thing you're failing at, like, that's clear feedback. Don't, yes. You know, like, that's not going to work for you. And it was just so clear to me. And it's like, I could fight the feedback, or I could just accept that, you know, I'm not a good weight loss coach. I'm not a good relationship coach, or, you know, while I may help people with certain things like that, that's not my zone of genius. So the sooner you accept and release what you think sounded glamorous as a title, the faster the shorter your trip to success kind of comes in, and everything starts to flow. And then you don't feel like you're struggling. And, you know, but I think it's always going to be like this. Like, are we ever really done?
Yes. It's always an evolution. I love that. And I also, you know, I love that, you know, you're empowered to make those changes, you know, through our work together with the free 5-day website challenge. You have the empowerment and the ability to be nimble without spending a ton of money, like, because you invested a ton in a web designer, and now you're like, well, wait, I don't have another $3,000-$4,000 to redo this. I'm stuck with it. Like,
yeah,
that, I feel like being empowered to do it yourself also empowers you to make those changes in your business where you might otherwise feel trapped.
And if I could just speak to that, because what I want people to know is, I know it's easy to listen to this and say, oh, well, you had a graphic design background. And what I want you to know is, I knew nothing about web design. If you notice the things I listed when I talked about my job, it was all product. It was physical products, which means I was going to factories in China to help create objects. When you design something on the web, that is completely different. So I know it's easier for you to say, like, oh, Lindsay, you did it because you are a designer, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, no. Like, I started from scratch. And even just something as simple as, like, photographs, I didn't have any fancy photo shoots. This was taken by my then boyfriend, my now fiance. Like, you can make beautiful photos, and you can just have, like, someone that you know take the pictures. and then come in and like, you know, tweak the colors or whatever. These are actually the colors on my websites over there. I'm looking at it. But, you know, it's just, you can do it without a huge budget. The only thing I invested in was Shannon's courses so that I could do it myself. That's it. I didn't put any money into my website other than that. And we're now on middle of year 3 of my business. So
wow, it's been that long. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love what you said there about you don't have to spend a lot of money, but that you did take the time to take photos of yourself. Because that's one of the big things that it's one of the big things that I recommend to people is having an image of themselves on their website. But so many people feel really uncomfortable with that for a variety of reasons. Did you have any misgivings or weird feelings about putting yourself on your website?
So for years, I had a design website with 0 pictures of me. So it's interesting that you're asking that. What I want to say, just coming from an enrollment standpoint, that if you want to enroll clients, you need your face out there. Because if I'm looking at someone's site and I can't see their face, it breaks down the trust that I have. I want to see them. I want to know them. I want to girl crush on them. I want to love them if I'm going to hire them, right? And if I can't see your face, I don't really know you. And, you know, what I tell my clients over and over again is that business moves at the speed of trust.
Yes.
So anything you can do to build trust on your website, whether that's even just like the ease of navigation. Like if a site's hard to navigate, I'm like, screw this person can't think straight. And that may not be true, but your website matters. And the images of you, your face, your personality, your energy matter, because enrollment is all about energy. We like, you know, there may be other people teaching, you know, WordPress out there, but I chose Shannon. Why? Because it was an energetic choice. I was like, ooh, like her hair is always perfect. And, you know, you think it's these superficial things, but it's really just an energy attraction, right? So whether it's just the way you're laughing in a photo, it doesn't matter. You just want to show your energy. If you're a serious person, take some serious photos. I don't care. Just get your energy out there so people know why they should choose you over somebody else.
Yeah, and it works in the reverse too. Because I want to attract the kind of people like you that want to, you know, work with me. So it's in the reverse too. It's like if I put out like this picture of me having fun and smiling like I do when I'm with my friends, I'm going to attract the kind of people that I just want to work with, that just make me just so happy to do what I do. So it's a two-way street. It's like putting yourself out there to build the trust, but then it's also to attract the kind of people that you really, really want to work with. Because there are going to be some people that look at my pictures and think that is super unprofessional. And I'll be like, good, because I don't want to work with you anyway.
Yeah. And I think, you know, just talking about growing your business, in the beginning, you do get a lot of clients that you don't feel are soulmate clients or perfect fits for you. And as you evolve your brand, you'll notice the right people are attracted and your whole business improves. Because when you're working with soulmate clients and attracting them, they'll re-sign with you, you know, like it's a long-term relationship that you're building. So I absolutely agree. And I think what you put in your images matter too, right? So there are a lot of like flashy photos of coaches in like really fancy dresses standing in front of the Eiffel Tower with a glass of champagne in their hand, just ha ha, you know, having a great time.
Like you too can have this life.
Yeah, and that's great for some people, but it's a very clear message they're sending. So, you know, I'm saying they're successful. They're successful at repelling somebody like me and attracting the people who are perfect for them. So absolutely, I agree.
Yep, definitely. Excuse me. So what advice would you give someone who is thinking about starting their own business?
So I think since I do work a lot with people in their first year of business, you know, the biggest thing is confidence in the beginning, and it's just do it. You're never going to be ready. And even now, like, I bet, Shannon, do you feel ready for what you're about to do next in your business?
No.
Right. And you're never ready for any of the things that you need to do to grow. So my advice is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And if that isn't something that interests you, then you might not want to be, you know, your own boss in the online space, because it's incredibly uncomfortable. Every time you try to grow, every time you try to get in front of more people, which is what's required if you want to have clients, you're going to be uncomfortable. So just be okay with that. Be okay with it, and know that ready is a complete illusion. It's really what's sexy is starting and doing.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Absolutely. I am so sorry. I'm going to turn around and grab this. I just want to show you what is going on right now. She's just going underneath my little ottoman by the window, back and forth, and making all kinds of noise.
So big.
Like, gosh, she's ginormous, and she's 7 months old. So sorry, I'm trying to wrangle this puppy in so we can keep talking. This is real life working for yourself.
Oh yeah.
From dealing with a nutty dog. No, but I totally agree. You're never going to be ready, and you really just have to take action, because it's never going to be perfect. And I was listening to another podcast. They talk about test and change, test and change, test and change. And so I just appreciate that you have to start to be able to test, to be able to change. And, you know, I love that you work with entrepreneurs in their first year in business too. Tell me a little bit more about why you picked that, or I don't know if you picked it or if that's how it seems to happen, or what. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it's like the first 2 years of their business, right? And I didn't pick it. I think it's just who I'm attracting. And it's people who have, like, you know, your purpose, right? You've just stumbled upon it and you're so excited. It's like, oh my God, that's what I'm meant to do, right? You get totally pumped. And then they're this big fiery ball of excitement, and then they don't know what to do with it. And I think the reason why I attract that is because I'm a big fiery ball of excitement all the time. So it's a perfect fit, because I'm going to show them how to keep that momentum, right? Instead of what happened to me is, so I had the corporate burnout, and then I started my own business, and then I burnt out. Like, it felt the same pretty much. Like, after the first year of trying to do this whole, like, be your own boss thing, I was exhausted, burnt out, again, unhealthy. You know, it was just, I was deteriorating. Like, I was exhausted. Had adrenal fatigue, you name it. I had it going on, right? And I just was like, this is like what I was trying to get away from. And so I think that I spent so much energy, and I was obsessed with figuring that out, getting past the burnout, and being able to do this whole online business in a way that doesn't deplete you, right? So that first year, second year person probably needs a bit of what I have to say, right? So I think that's why I attract that person.
Yeah, definitely, because your first couple of years are really challenging, and they can make or break you. Yeah. And they can make or break you, especially if you're trying to go it alone. So I feel like it is, if I hadn't started working with someone within my first 6 months, I would not still be doing this. Because it is just too hard to figure it out all on your own, especially when you do. You have this passion, but you just don't know how to kind of get over some of those blocks about how do I sell this? How do I talk about it without, you know, I don't feel qualified to do it, even though I'm super passionate about it. So I'm sure those are probably a lot of the things that you help people overcome, right?
Absolutely. And I think it was in Forbes that I read this, that like 70% of new business owners quit before their 4th year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, if the numbers are against us, we need to rise up.
Yeah.
Support each other. And, you know, there are ways to actually sign clients. Like, it's real.
So what do you think is like the determining factor between someone who actually quits versus keeps going and goes after it.
Yeah. I love this question so much. So I look at it like this. The only thing that we can really measure is our results, whether you measure that in your income, how many clients, how many new clients, how big your list is, you know, how many, whatever. You can only measure something that's quantifiable like that, right? So if we look at the results that you're getting, right, and you're not happy with it, I backtrack, right? So if your results are from actions you've taken, right? And the actions you've taken are because of a thought or an idea you had. Now, this is where people get lost, but I'm going to make it simple. Where does your thought and your idea come from, right? How do we just get ideas that just come into our head? And it's this. We're on a frequency that channels a certain quality of thoughts. And that frequency is determined by your beliefs. And so I think the difference between someone who, you know, keeps on going versus someone who quits is their beliefs. So I like to think of it like if your mind is a computer and then your belief system is the software that's running, right? And you want something to happen, but it's not happening, then you probably need new software, and that's updating your beliefs. So if you're not getting the results that you want, most people look at what am I not doing, right? They're like stuck in the doing, but you can skip over that and go to the beliefs. And when you fix your beliefs, you'll channel better ideas, more innovative ideas that stand out, and then you'll take action on those things, and then you'll have a new result. So in my opinion, it is all beliefs. So before I hire a coach, I look at what their beliefs. How are their beliefs going to get me to where I need to go next, right? I look at what my problem is and have they figured that problem out.
That is so powerful. I've never really heard, I've heard pieces and parts of, you know, you have to believe or you have to, but never have I heard it tied together in the way that you just tied it together. And I think that that is, I love that. That is awesome. And it makes total sense. And I think, you know, I think people that, I don't know, sometimes it's really like, I've never had a doubt with WPBFF that it was going to be a success. I mean, I've just always known it from the beginning, but then there are other parts of my life that I struggle with because I don't have the belief that I'm capable of accomplishing that thing. And that's very, I just think it's so interesting to tie it that way because I can look at my own life and say, yep, that has played out exactly as my belief system aligns. So I think that's very, very powerful. That means that we can all get what we want.
Absolutely. Like totally. It's just about programming your new belief system, and it takes time. I think a lot of people in the self-help, self-development world just think, oh, I'll just journal and poof, it'll be there. You know, it's really a consistency thing. It's really, it takes time to program new beliefs and, you know, and flush out the old ones and really figure out like, where are they tangled and how am I still bringing them to life and energizing them through the words I'm speaking, the actions I'm taking. I mean, you're probably still breathing life into beliefs that are just not aligned with the goal, right? So,
and you don't even know it. You don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah. So you can't change something you're not aware of. So that first step, it's like the G.I. Joe, right? Like knowing is half the battle. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if you could go back and do anything differently in your business than what you've done in the past 3 years, what would you go back and do differently? You want to say hi, Scarlett?
Hey, Scarlett. What I would do differently. You know, I actually had this moment at the end of last year, and this year has been very different for me. And I'm like, man, I should have done this sooner. So I'll start there. What I would have done differently is realize that if you want to have a business in the online space, like I remember just thinking, I just want to coach. Like, I just want to coach. Like, I love coaching, right? Really what you're getting into is a content creation business. And it took me a very long time to realize that. So what I would have done sooner is figured out my content schedule and understood that that is like 50%, maybe even more sometimes, of my business, that was like a total punch in the face. I just was like, oh my God, I didn't realize like you can't just like post here and there or do something once in a while, send out a newsletter once a month. That sounds very ideal, but it doesn't work. And it's really about figuring out how you like to create content. So it took me a long time to figure out that I love video. So I was trying to blog and it just wasn't working. Like I wasn't sticking to it. I was completely resistant. And I felt like I had a hobby that I hated. Like it was I was like, this sucks. So yeah, if you're out there and you're trying to figure out how to create content and you hate blogging, then blogging's not your thing. Like something else is. And once you figure out what it is, I have to schedule the whole year and set an alarm and be accountable, because some weeks you're excited to do it and other weeks you're like, oh God, filming a video, that means I have to shower and do my hair. And, you know, I think I just would have created consistently, because like we talked about before, that it's a game of trust, right? Business is all about building trust, and nothing builds trust like showing up consistently. Like, and it's subconscious, right? Like I hear everyone saying consistency. I'm like, yeah. But actually it's working. It's working. I've done a video every single week this year. And then I do a live every single week this year, and it's at a scheduled time, and I show up for myself. I show up for my people, and some days I don't feel like it. But, you know, I think if I had that my first 2 years in business, man, I'd be like twice as far along. So,
but it's something that you have to kind of learn from experience also, which probably helps you drive that consistency, because now you're like, man, I'm seeing results from this consistency, and you're just there. I totally agree with you that if you don't like blogging, don't do blogging. If you don't like being on video, you hush. That is rude. If you don't like being on video, you know, just blog consistently. And, you know, it's really about finding what you love to do, because we're here building businesses that we love. I think maybe I like writing because I don't have to shower and put makeup on for it.
And then, you know, I think when you get one consistent habit down, you add another. So like I said, first it was just a video to my email list once a week. And then I added in the live video separate from that. So a second video. And then I also added in, actually this was first, but it's something that I've put together that I'm sticking to, and that's getting published once a month. I've really been committed to that schedule. And, you know, every time you master another thing, you can add on more when you're ready, when you're comfortable, when you're in flow. Otherwise, you're just going to be overwhelmed and all the things, right? All the noise, all the fluff. And you just feel like, oh my God, I can't live like this.
Yeah.
Right? So,
well, and the publishing piece is really kind of what sparked me to invite you on now, because you'd been on my list for a while because of your awesome like website success. And I'm just like, oh yeah, she's rocking it. I want to talk to her. I want to find out all about this. And then, you know, we chatted recently, and I took a look at your site, and I saw, I'm just going to pull it up now, like in the middle of your homepage, as seen in all these amazing publications. And I'm like, how'd she do that? So I emailed you and I said, you know, and I asked you, but so will you share a little bit with our BFFs how you know, made the commitment, and then how you've actually kind of landed those really cool guest posts?
Yeah, because this is a great list builder, and it's also a great, you know, it's a great feature on your site, right? If you're trying to build your expert status, like that helps. So when I had said that before I hire a coach or work with someone, I want to see their beliefs. So I had this belief that I thought that getting published was so hard. So hard. It's so hard to get published. And so I didn't really try because I just decided it was hard, and only great writers get published, and I'm not a great writer. Or I thought I wasn't a great writer at the time. And so I teamed up with someone and we did a session around getting published. And the thing that she said to me was, oh, it's easy. It's easy to get published. And I was like, oh my God, it is. And then the minute I switched and was like, this is easy, I had major success. So the goal was to get published once a month for the whole year. And by the second month of the year, end of February, I was published 6 times. Yeah. So, and this is how I did it. I just read through whatever publication it was that I was focusing on that week. I read a bunch of their stuff. I found a hole of where I could add value that wasn't there yet. Like, oh, I could, you know, come at this from a different angle. Maybe it's the same topic, but I have something to add on this, you know? And then I would email them with like thoughtful words like, hey, I would love to add something that I think might, you know, fill out what you've got. And I think your readers will love, you know, telling them why they would want what I have to add, like selling myself, if you want to call it that, but enrolling them in a service-based way. I'm in service to your publication. That was my mindset. And not thinking, I want to get published. This is about me, right? So when it's about whoever it is that you're trying to add value to their site, whether it's a, you know, Shannon site or, you know, EverCoach, whatever it is, you want to be thinking about them. Why the hell do they want your thing, right? And every single time I submitted, I got a positive response back. And I was like, awesome. You know, I was like, sweet. So I'm going to be writing a couple more articles, second and third submissions for some of those publications that will be coming out soon. So it's not hard. You just have to kind of think about the needs of the other person on the end. It's kind of the same thing as enrolling clients.
So I want to dig a little bit deeper into what you said and just kind of into some of the specifics. So when you said you emailed them, how did you know who to email?
Yeah, that takes a little bit of digging sometimes. Not gonna lie.
Sleuthing, a little stalking. No.
Yeah, stalking, a little digging. And honestly, the fastest way to get those answers of, you know, a lot of them have submissions on their website. So like, I don't know, a lot of people are doing call for submissions. So that's great, right? When there isn't, I find someone who was published and I just ask the person, hey, who did you email? So
it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's easy, but like you kind of get a block about like, well, how would I even know who to contact?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, reach out to someone that's done it before and ask them how they did it.
Yeah. Just say, hey, I just read your article. It was fantastic. You know, give them a little like, you know, build the rapport a little, and then just say like, I think I can add something. You know, I'd love to know who you emailed or who you sent your submission to or how that process worked. If you could tell me, I'd be super grateful. And people are really happy to help.
Sure.
Like, you know, I think that if they've been published, they went through this process of thinking it was hard at some point too. So they're happy to help you along. So
that's very cool. So you mentioned that these articles have been a really good list builder for you. What are some other things that you've done that have been good list builders, and then maybe some things that you've done that you've put a lot of time into that maybe didn't pay off as well as you thought they would?
Yeah. So there's been a change, and it's like, it's crazy how fast the online world is changing because webinars, right? So a funnel with a Facebook ad to a webinar used to be a really big thing. And I came into that towards the end of its glow. And so the investment that I put into the Facebook ads wasn't huge. I didn't, you know, spend an arm and a leg. I was more of, you know, split testing and just kind of finding like what works. And then all of a sudden, and it did work. It was great. I got clients from that funnel. It was wonderful. And then all of a sudden, I just saw this drop off where people don't have time anymore. They're not going to sit through your hour-long webinar. It's not a list builder. It's just not. I know there are a lot of people who would argue with me, and that's great. I'm happy for them that they're having success. It wasn't great for my people. Mm-hmm. My people are frantic. They are frantic. The noise is killing them, and they don't need another webinar. What they want is a checklist. They want it to be quick. They want you to deliver information that is so powerful and quick and gives them a way to remember it, whether that's a diagram, a mnemonic device. It doesn't matter. They want to remember it. So what works for me is those checklists, and I'll promote that in Facebook groups or in my own group, right? Or Facebook ads. And like I said, I don't spend a ton on Facebook ads. It's just to keep flow and growing slowly. Like, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, I don't need to like spend $10,000 on Facebook ads this month. It's a slow situation, and really it's relationship building. So I think of that checklist as a handshake, and that's what gets it started. A webinar is not a handshake.
Yeah, it's like a first date.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
just one more thing that honestly, this has actually been the biggest list builder. I need to do more of it. Is 5-day challenges when they're live. So for a while I was doing like 10-day download or 5-day this, but I wouldn't do it live because I was just afraid. I was afraid no one would show up and I'd be abandoned by myself with my fireball bubbly energy and nobody there. But when I did my first 5-day challenge, it was crazy. The energy was through the roof. My list grew the fastest. I think I had like 70 signups that week, which is huge for me. And I just realized, wow, this is really what it is. And that goes along with enrollment because it's all about energy. I'm gonna say that a million times, but okay. Sorry for interrupting you, but I think people need to know that challenges are really powerful.
I love that. And you know, I've tried to figure out how do I turn the 5-day website challenge live, but I think I'm thinking about it a little wrong. I think I need to come up with a different 5-day challenge or different kind of challenge that I can do live, because the 5-day challenge, you just need more time than 5 days to get through that with all the decisions that you have to make. But that's really cool. So what was the topic of your challenge?
It was the 10K enrollment challenge. So it was how to enroll clients. And it was 5 days of massive like breakdown with workbooks. I mean, I really went all out because I was like hell bent on that first challenge being a success. And people like signed speaking jobs from that. They had massive breakthroughs. It was fantastic. And yeah, I can't say more about doing 5-day challenges and 3-day challenges. I did realize I had done challenges after that, and I'm keeping them to 3 days because 5 days is really a big ask of your people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I love about what you said there is you just delivered tons of value for free to people to start to build that relationship and build that trust and show your expertise and show your credibility and really help them accomplish something that's going to keep you top of mind, you know, for them. So it's like your checklist is the handshake, but then your challenge is really like here's what it's like. If you're going to get this for me for free and you're going to have this kind of results, just imagine if we could work together, you know, in a more intimate way, one-on-one, what kind of results you'll get. So I love that you use that as like a list builder and as a way for people to get to try you out to make sure you're right for them, you know, and attract those right people. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of the feedback that I got was like, I've done so many 5-day challenges and I haven't gotten results from it. Like, this was so powerful. And I think, you know, just thinking about like your 5-day challenge, which by the way, if it was live, that would be so overwhelming. But the point that I'm trying to make is that if you're going to do a challenge or even just your freebie, like you really want to focus on getting people results right away. Because if you don't, they're going to move on to the next challenge or the next coach or the next e-course or webinar or whatever's out there. And, you know, that's why I've gravitated towards Shannon, because after video 1, like I saw the framework of my website and I was like, no way, you know? And so after day 1, you're a believer, right? And we talked about how belief is everything. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this website thing. And it just goes, you know, you build on that day 2, day 3, and so on. So, you know, when you create any list builder, you want to think, how can I get someone even just a 1 degree shift of result, like right now? So
Yeah, I have never thought about that the way you just said it, but my whole way I present the 5-day website challenge is getting you to believe that you can do it. You know, it's not just another tutorial where I'm like, point here, click here. Like the whole time I'm trying to get you to believe that you really can do it. So I'm so glad you pointed that out, because I never realized that about, you know, that's my whole goal is not, you know, it's not for you to always build your website for yourself forever and ever and ever. I just want you to believe that you can, and then make the decision on whether or not you want to do it. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, and it's totally effective because I was coming from Squarespace. I had a Squarespace site, which is really easy plug and play. And, you know, making the decision to switch was terrifying. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to know how to update things or change photos, or, you know, and that was a big hesitation. So after day one, like knowing that, okay, I'm going to have full control over my website, which I didn't have in Squarespace. There were things I wanted to do that were limited. And so that's why I switched in the first place. But being able to see that, oh my God, there's so much more you can do with a WordPress site. And then I started looking at people who I love, like, you know, even just like Marie Forleo's website. And I'm like, this isn't a Squarespace site, so I better get my shit together.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, you're one of my first Squarespace conversions, but like most of my done for you package clients are Squarespace people that they've built their business to a point where they can no longer grow on that platform, and they realize that they have to move to WordPress. And so that's why I always tell people, you know, start like you're going to grow big. You know, it might be really tempting to go to Squarespace and pull something together. And you know what? If that's what you need to do to just take some action and get moving, you go for it. I'm never going to dissuade somebody from doing what they need to do to take action. But consider that WordPress is going to be where you need to eventually be if you're gonna grow into you know, a business that can serve a lot more people, because you're only one person, Lindsay. You need to leverage your website to scale what you can bring to the world with your stuff.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the move there. So tell me a little bit more about like what your plans for the future of Soul Rising are.
So I've been mentored by somebody who, his name is Steve D'Annunzio. That was my coach for 3 years when I was in corporate. Everything I know, for the most part, has come from him. Like his work has completely taken over my brain, along with many others, obviously. Since then, I've worked with plenty of other coaches that have infused their take on it as well. And it just kind of all comes together. But when I think about the future, I really look at his business as a obvious example of what's possible, you know, and he's touched the lives of thousands of people. And I'm like, man, I want that, right? And the way that he's done that is through running group programs twice a year, obviously the one-on-one coaching, which is so intimate and dear to my heart, and I love it. And then, you know, public speaking, doing symposiums, full, you know, immersions, things like that, and getting up in front of people and presenting. So for me, that next super uncomfortable, scary step is doing live speaking gigs, right? That's the thing for me that's next. And October 1st, I'll be opening the doors to Enlighten Enrollment again, which is the group coaching program that I run to help small businesses enroll clients and get their revenue going. So I'm kind of following in the footsteps of what he's set up. And yeah, when you see like competition and people succeeding and you maybe feel a little bit of jealousy, just remember they're showing you that it's possible to have what you want, and be pumped about it. Like I'm pumped. So that's what's on tap for me.
That is awesome. So how do we find out more about how to get notified when the doors open in October?
Yeah, so I do have a wait list so that you can be notified first. I'm going to update my button the minute we get off here, but because I don't have the link for just the wait list
Sure.
on hand, but I can totally get that and send it your way. But yeah, so there's a wait list. So if you hop in, sign up, you'll be notified before. That's going to be like pre-launch. You get notified the minute that it's available.
That's super cool. So what is your freebie on your website right now?
Yeah, so this is super juicy, and I'm so excited to share this. It's been out for a bit, and it's helping so many people, and you need to jump on it, absolutely. So my clients have an 85% close rate. That word close can be a little icky. So what I mean by that is that they hear yes 85% of the time on their sales calls. And they do that with my script. And so if you head to soulrising.com, you can steal my sales script, and it gives you the breakdown in a really memorable way. And the thing that I've created there is it's really based on a way to be yourself, to feel natural, and to not feel like you have to fumble for words. So I'm giving you a script, but there's room for you to be you. It's not like say this, then say that, then say that, you know? It's the overall flow. So I'm teaching you how to lead a sales call that converts.
Very cool. I'm sure many people in the WPBFF's Facebook group could use that script. So go over to soulrising.com and sign up to steal Lindsay's sales script, and you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for coming on the BFF Insiders and sharing everything with us today. I mean, I got so many good insights and breakthroughs just from our conversation together. So I really appreciate your time. And I'm so excited to see your business growing. I feel like we're kind of like right in the same path, you know, as far as when we started our businesses and our growth, and how we're just kind of like rocking it out and we're still going. And I think that's super cool. So I'm really excited for you, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. Is there anything else you want to share with our BFFs before we wrap it up? And can we find you on Twitter, Facebook? Where do you hang out on social?
Come find me on Facebook. And I think the lasting thought, and this is what I close everything with, and this just kind of answers to any bit of doubt or wanting to quit. And it's just do your best work and make it matter, because that's what we're here for. So don't quit. Don't quit. Right?
Awesome.
It's about bringing your purpose forward and making it matter by delivering it to people, right? Using your website, using your words, using conversations. So make sure that you're putting it out there, because remember, like what I said in the beginning about, you know, if you've got great medicine, but it's not healing anybody, like what's the point? You've got to get out there. So that would be my last words here to kind of cap things off is do your best work and make it matter.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And next time I won't have a bitey dog in the room with me being cute. You're being cute.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so awesome to connect with you and chat face to face like this. It's so
yes. Awesome. We need to do this again, because I want to pick your brain about so many more things after this that we just don't have time to do in an hour. So we'll definitely get you back on.
Perfect. You got it.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Bye.